Woody had gone right to the police, this would never have happened.
Uh-oh.
So, there are liberties being taken, like, there's going to be an increased amount of shit talk.
Oh, I have to remind myself I'm here willingly.
Catch one with a little bit of attitude, big guy?
Man, you champion son.
Well, it's a kangaroo court.
What do you mean? How is the NFL a kangaroo court?
Could you please let me explain why?
No, I don't want to hear this garbage. Give me an answer to the questions I asked you.
What the fuck are we doing? Come on with it, baby!
Thanks, boy.
Brilliant. I'll talk to you later.
Let's get to the thing. All right. My undercarriage is sweating.
All right, and welcome into another edition of the I'm sorry, I almost said our old name. Third Manageable Podcast here from live from DiPaolos.
Nah, that show sucked.
I'm super excited for tonight's show. But let's get some things out of the way here real quickly. First, we do want to make sure we touch everybody that helps us out here. DiPaolos, 3785 South Park Avenue, Blaisdell, New York, 14219. We also have beauty pools, kayak pools, Sons of Erie. Am I forgetting anything?
Yeah, get rid of just some of my chins. Okay, we got a big guest on tonight. What's up, guys? Student Body right here. We got a big one tonight. Probably one of our, one of our better guests, I would say, probably. Not better guests. They're all illustrious guests. You guys know us. We don't like to go on air unless they've played through the prism of a face mask. But it is the engineer of two of the greatest comebacks ever. It's Mr. Frank Reich. Just to preface this interview, Matt, I've just been texting with him. Dude, he is just like probably one of the nicest cats you are going to encounter.
Yeah, I've heard. I mean, like from Dennis, from you, it's definitely going to be a good show. So definitely tune into this. I do want to do one last. We do have one last read we got to do. Real quick. Happy holidays and Mackenzie. Sorry. Remember when we took pride in the things we built, the things we grew, when we put aside small differences to support one another? We can do it again, and it's not as hard as you think. This Christmas, say no to fake trees. They're made of lead and plastic in sweatshops overseas. Choose a traditional, sustainable, real tree grown by an American family. American family farmers in every state. We're not as divided as they say. Let's support each other again. The only way to ensure real Christmas is with a real Christmas tree grown here in America. So this Christmas, don't fake it, go real. That way you will definitely have a really great Christmas holiday. Sponsored by the growers of real Christmas trees at Happy Holiday and Mackenzie Tree Farms.
Now, I have a good story about that, Maddie.
Yeah.
Do you know, you obviously know the tree at Rockefeller Center, I'm assuming, right?
Absolutely.
So the tree in Rockefeller Center, they go and they scout that like years in advance. And they tag them. And it's always a kerfluffle to see them bust it in. And it's always a kerfluffle for me to bust in all this equipment because, once again, we are sponsored by DiPaolos. Hey, yo, pop up in the chat. It's not every now and then you get to speak to a guy who's lived a lot of lives. He's engineered possibly, the greatest, maybe outside of last year. That UCLA Colorado comeback was pretty spicy. Last year, I won some money on that one. It's probably about a year ago today. Dion was the cock of the walk and got humbled a little bit. Kind of seems like it's going that way a little bit this year. But it's not every day you get a guy who's succeeded kind of arguably at a lot of levels. He's engineered the greatest kind of comeback ever at the University of Maryland. Engineered, obviously, the greatest comeback ever in the NFL. That big Oilers win that kind of propelled the start of the good years. Just in preparing for this one, I watched Four Falls of Buffalo again.
Yeah.
And just to see how Frank really, he stepped in leading up into that Miami game, the Houston game. And,
well, that's the crazy part. Like the week prior, they had just lost to Houston.
Right.
Like they got destroyed by Houston. Like it's like,
they put it this way. Before that comeback was engineered, Houston had beat the bag. I got to watch my language on this one. They beat the bag off them for 6 quarters.
Yeah.
We just got the best of them for the last 2.
And then for the first 2 minutes of the of the comeback game. Bubba McDowell off of Keller's hands. Took it right down and put it in the end zone.
Yeah, I remember when we were talking to Ryan Talbot? It was really what propelled that was them missing Don Beebe stepping out of bounds. I was like, yo, chill, dog. Chill. We don't talk about that. So, pop in the chat. You guys got a lot of options tonight. We hope you tune in with us. Maddie, just let's keep it frank tonight, man. I don't want to talk about it. We're a late podcast. We're a Friday night podcast. You guys have heard it. And if you're tuning into us, that's because you're deep into Bill's consumption.
And you're going to hear like the analytics side of it tomorrow with Jake on the Buffalo
great show.
Blueprint.
Great show.
Amazing show. Great guest last week for the Texans. I can't say good enough things about Jake and what he's done for the network and everything like that. So definitely a great time to be alive. I'm ready for this.
What a time you chose to be alive.
Yes.
As we say.
That's another one.
So, Maddie, can you allude to some of the things we got going on to do coming up lately?
Not yet.
It is crazy though, right?
Absolutely.
We'll get that going. So, Frank is actually we're live here at DiPaolos, and you can see he is a guest here at DiPaolos. That is taken recently. You can see the big guy standing next to the owner, guy I consider my father, Dennis DiPaolo. You'll be hearing from him later. But once again, Frank was probably one of those teams that ingratiated themselves in Buffalo. He wasn't one of the ones that stuck around just because he was one of the few that actually stepped into coaching. But he did take a crucial 12 years off from his last snap. And one of the things that we forget, homie, he left for the Jets, and I think he started like 7 games in his later career
for Carolina.
For the Jets.
Well, I know, but he was with Carolina.
Yeah,
he was their first starting quarterback.
And I think I go to his. I feel like I always talk about how great I am, but I feel like everybody should know. Dave Myers. So I go to his brunch every year, Matt. I know. Yeah, that was funny. Yeah. But I go to his brunch every single year, and he has a thing they call athletes in action, and a Call to Courage Award. I've been there when I believe
Zach Ertz won it last year.
It was Zach Ertz that won it last year.
And it was Nick Foles the year before.
Nick Foles, Andy Dalton. He holds it every year at the downtown. What's the hotel that's right on the tracks there, off the theater district? Is the Radisson or
something like
the downtown Hilton?
Yeah.
If tickets will be available.
It used to be Mark, right? Like
Marriott Marquis down there or something. Whatever. No free shout outs.
Yeah.
Jake, look that up. Whatever it is. I feel like I'm starting to laugh like fucking AWOL. But anyway, it will be in town next week. You'll hear from him. He will be
co-hosting.
He'll be co-hosting. Yeah. So you'll hear from Aaron Williams next week. You'll hear from E. Wood.
And you may have an Aaron Williams sighting on the network for a show later on.
No, you will. We don't have to thinly veil. Yeah, you'll see a lot of Aaron Williams. Nothing but illustrious guests here. So I'm going to take a sip of my drink, and we'll break for...
and I was more talking a permanent show, but, you're talking,
I'm talking that I know Aaron Williams a little bit better than you do, Cowboy. And as I said, come on with it. Aaron is as good as you see him. So we got some people in the chat. Good luck, boys. This is going to make me cry. I'm assuming that's because we are about to announce a new gambling sponsor, which we're extremely proud of. Details to follow. But anything you guys want to hear in the chat, I'm going to kind of be monitoring a little bit more than I typically do. So if you have anything great to say, Matt, what are your plans for the game this Monday night? What will we be doing together? Why don't we promote that a little bit?
We will be here at DiPaolos watching the game. Prior to that, Celebrity Chef. Big charity event for the DiPaolos.
Yep.
Another one that we're going to be a part of.
Yep. You're watching the game. If you guys want to stop down, tickets are still available. They're available in short order. You'll see Jim Kelly down here. I think we're sitting with him. I know it's going to be great.
Next to.
Yeah.
Because he's at Dennis's table, we're at Ilio's table. So.
Why do you know more than me?
Because he told me already.
Oh, okay. I forgot you have the direct line to the big guy. So anyway, tickets are available in short order if you guys want to come. Celebrity Chef is an amazing experience. If you guys have any questions like that, we're just waiting on Frank for this. Let's give a little preview for the Jets. Is Student still donating $50 to Harrison's Playmakers Funds for East Mustache? Student has already done that because Student is a deadbeat, and he's still sporting the stash. Jesse, if you want to tweet out your lip furniture. Do you think Frank will show up with a beard?
What are the odds? What are we putting on odds? Over under?
I don't know because Frank. I think the first time Frank grew a beard was for that big CBS interview, and he said he never grew a beard before. So he's either sporting something out of like Castaway, just strong Catholic man, or he's going to be clean shaven, buttoned up, and just maniacally detail oriented like he's always been. So what side are you taking? Jesse, make odds in the chat if you can.
I think he's coming clean shaven.
Okay. I do too. Anyway, if you guys want to stop down right now, we are actually. Hey, what's up, man? How you doing? We are completely full. We are completely full. I wonder if we can pan. I don't even want to pan to it. But thank you guys for all support, all the hellos. We got Senator Stahowski in here. We got who's that from the Bills? That's so uncouth to not know his name, but it's always good. DiPaolos. So for the Jets, we're gonna be at Celebrity Chef. Matt, let's talk about one thing really, really quickly, and we're gonna call this student stupidity, if that's cool with you.
Yeah.
Now
yeah.
put your volume down. I'm not done talking. And this is going to be a little bit of a rant. What are people talking about? About, what is it? They call it high convertible plays, or I heard it like 9 times this week. High
percentage plays?
High percentage plays. Can someone explain to me what a high percentage play is?
It's something like a swing pass out of the backfield, or your screen play, or your screen pass, or give me 1 sec.
So that's what is the metric? What is the percentage? What is the net resulting factor that results in a high percentage? A high percentage that it's convertible.
I think it's got to be over 95% or 90%.
But versus what?
Something like a downfield shot.
No. Not the other side of the coin. I'm talking about a high percentage of what? What is the metric? Like the high percentage that he catches the ball and advances it at least 1 yard forward. My point is, I think it's lazy.
Hold on.
Lazy rhetoric. We'll get in a fight. I don't care.
Yeah, that's fine. But
who would win? Me.
I don't know. You'd probably kick my ankle and I'd go down. But it's a high percentage of a completion.
Oh, Jesse says it's versus low percentage. Thanks, muted.
It's the completion part of it. It's not gaining yards. It's getting the ball out of Allen's hands into a Curtis Samuel's hands, or in a James.
So it doesn't
Cook
matter if
hands,
it's behind the line of scrimmage. It doesn't matter if it's a tunnel screen. It doesn't matter if it's a shovel pass forward.
Those are high percentage pass plays.
That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
I agree.
And I think it's lazy.
It is. No, it absolutely is. But it's not. It is lazy. It's a lazy take, but also
it's not math oriented. To me, it's not.
It's like
Jake, tell me what it is.
A true part of the game. It's a big part of the game where you're trying to hit these high percentage plays that it's to advance the ball down the field.
But if it goes 1 yard, great. We love high percentage 1 yard plays, or is it they advance it 5 yards? I just don't know what the metric is, and if somebody could define it, maybe Jake or something like that. What is a high? What do we consider? Maybe we'll set the standard.
Well, this is actually a good question to ask Frank, being an offensive coordinator,
NFL head coach, 2-time NFL coach, a Super Bowl champ. Now, okay, here's a good one. High percentage play, right? We'll call it. Let's call it Philly special. Okay. Right? That's a risky ass play. Everybody calls it a risky ass play, right? To split Foles out. That was only a 5 yard throw, something like that.
Not even. I think they were on the 3.
So, but with a high downside that something could go terribly wrong, whether it be injury. Is that a high percentage play?
I wouldn't put it as a high percentage play.
But your metric out of the backfield swings, tunnel screens.
Because I think that it also has to take into those.
My point is it's poorly defined, and if you have something poorly defined, it's lazy rhetoric. Someone define it. If it has to be us, it'll be us. Or maybe I'm wrong. Somebody tell me. Somebody wants to pop in the chat and tell me what a high percentage play is, I'll admit that I'm dumb. I do it every day.
Hey, what do we always say?
Biggest loser. We're the biggest losers until we win the day.
Yep.
So, anyway, that's the student stupidity of the week, or whatever I call it. Student sucks of the week. So, I'd love to see some high percentage plays. And you know what else I want to see, Matt?
What?
I really want to see us taking what the defense gives us. So as we gain more and more people, we'll have Frank Reich right around the top of the hour. But let's go briefly to Robert Saleh, and I'll let you take this.
So
let me preface a little bit. Uncharacteristic firing of the Odin Woody.
5 games in.
I don't think he's ever fired anybody mid-season. I don't think that's a weird talking
I
point.
mean, he had Belichick quit on him 3 days after. But
I mean,
that's
the Jets have the opportunity to do the funniest thing in the world in re-signing Bill Belichick.
Oh, jeez.
And if they tender him, it better be on a cocktail napkin. So, in terms of how you view football, how palatable is the narrative that that's another one bites the dust because of Aaron Rodgers?
Honestly, I don't.
Or
care.
is that lazy too?
I don't care what Aaron Rodgers said on Pat McAfee or what he said in the media. He was absolutely one of the reasons that Robert Saleh got fired. I am still of that mind. I don't care what he says. We saw the reports come out that Nathaniel Hackett, like one of his really close friends, was getting demoted or fired or whatever it was at that point. And I think he made a phone call to Woody Johnson. I'm whether that ended it or not, I don't know.
See, I wouldn't even go that far that it's a phone call. I think Aaron Rodgers, just in the way. Yeah, we'll do that. Yep, thank you. I just think in the way Aaron Rodgers does things, I don't think it's ever a phone call. I think he's that tethered into in ownership. I mean, they've given Aaron Rodgers everything he's asked for. Okay?
Minus Devontae Adams.
Come on, man. Does Devontae want to play with a guy who's, on a flat tire and he hasn't really had a...
I don't know. I'm not Devontae Adams. I couldn't tell you. I wouldn't want to play in with the Jets. And that has nothing to do with the Bills thing. I wouldn't want to go there. You have a first-time head coach. You have
an interim head coach. You don't even know if he's going to be there next year.
Right. Exactly. So, I don't know. I'm and the other thing too that bothers me is the whole myth of the first game bump. Teams since 2000.
Go.
Teams since 2000 are 16-21 with the coach getting fired mid-season and
Go ahead.
Stop turning down my volume.
It's just I know where you're going with this, and I know what podcast you're quoting with this first game bump, and it's just...
No, it's something I saw on Twitter that 20 minutes after he got fired. Because everybody was so worried on, Bill's Twitter. Oh my God, now here comes the first game bump. There is no such thing. They're 16-21. Teams are 16-21 the game after they fire their head coach.
Yeah, I mean the ethos that they just play harder because they hey, good to see you. That they just play harder because they feel guilty that they just got their head coach fired. No, we'll get them yet. They feel guilty that they just got their head coach fired, so there's extra fire. These are pro athletes. I mean, the ethos. I mean, I'd lean harder into that. The guy who puts you on a final roster is no longer, going to be creating anything for you. I mean, these guys are professional athletes. They go out and they play at a high capacity, regardless of the situation. That's what got them to that level. So to overanalyze and to contort data to think that there's extra motivation or anything like that, I don't think there's ever extra motivation more than what got them to this level. That's the mental adage you have to play to succeed, and to even have the opportunity and the privilege to buckle up a chin strap at that level. I mean, lazy.
No, absolutely, it's a lazy take, but at the same time, too, like, I get it. We saw what happened against the Chargers last year with the Bills. You know, they wanted to play for the coach, you know, whatever. But we've seen it over time. But there is no actual, like, bump. Yeah, like we talked about it last week on the postgame, there is no reason that there should be anything to have these NFL players get up for a game.
I mean, I think that's completely accurate. Now, where are you at with? I'm gonna set the standard right now for this podcast. They're a three-headed monster. Why is no one talking about the first-year OC Blues, the first-year DC Blues, and why is this all on McDermott? Why is this McDermott's on the hot seat? Is this the three-headed monster in terms of the triality of Josh, Bean, and McDermott? I think that's one subset, and also the triality of McDermott finally leading from the front and the head coach, having your OC completely being the OC and having your DC being completely the DC. He's involved in two of those pods. Is that why McDermott's on the hot seat? Because he's involved in both of those navigational groups of which we believe in? Or why is no one talking about these are two first-year guys that... And why do we denigrate to the defense is playing bad? This is what we saw out of Leslie Frazier. Wrong. He comes from his father's adage and in his father's scheme subset. Or why is this? Oh, we're seeing a lot of Dorsey's offense. I thought that died. I thought this is where we opened it up. There's a lot of conflicting opinions, and honestly, I think podcast equipment should get just a little bit more expensive.
No, not at all. But I do think the McDermott thing is a lazy take. I really do. I can't stand people that are like. I get it. I get that people are like, "What have you done for me lately?" Truly, I think people are, "What have you done for me lately?" rather than looking back and looking at Sean McDermott as a whole. Since 2017, he broke the drought. He's one of the top two winningest percentage since 2020. I get. Stop. Like, I just don't understand why people are just weird about it. Like, yes, I want a Super Bowl as bad as everybody else in the NFL, or as bad as every other Bills Mafia member, every Bills fan, everything. But at the same time, I understand it's hard to win in the NFL.
We got it's so wild. I'm texting Frank Reich right now. Ready when you are. He is in the car. Don't podcast and drive.
Yeah, that's great.
So very excited for this one. You should see Frank Reich on here in the next 5 minutes. I'm going to retweet that out. We got 250 people watching live. Hey, pop in the chat. Are you monitoring Twitter? Am I monitoring Twitter?
You're monitoring Twitter. I got all.
I monitor nothing. So anyway, let us know what you want to hear about Frank Reich. We'll open this up to him. Where do you rank him in terms of a guy who really architected the deviation away from the bickering Bills?
I thought you were going to ask me overall as a Bills quarterback, but I mean, I would say that he's right there. I mean, especially with his background and everything, I truly think that was part of it.
Sorry, you take it over. I'm just
no, that's fine. And there's a lot of things, because I truly think that there is probably 5 quarterbacks ahead of him, and that's it on the Bills. I think it's Jim Kelly, Josh Allen, not in any order. Jim Kelly, Josh Allen, Joe Ferguson.
AVP for MVP?
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. We're just getting Frank set up right now, and you will see him. So once again, pop on the chat. I'll tweet this link out again. Very excited to have him on. It's interesting to bring up Ryan Fitzpatrick because he's another legendary number 14. Have we seen number 12 given out since Jim Kelly? Have we seen number 34 given out since Thurman Thomas? We've definitely seen 78 given out, right?
34, no, but
12 have we?
No, I don't think so. I'm trying to remember, but
we got him. Why don't we give him the intro? Very
ahead.
Special guest. This is the moment for everybody right now. I'll do it for you. We'll bring him around screen right now. this is a big one for us. It's certainly a bucket list thing. He's a guy who still has a large footprint in the culture of philanthropy in Buffalo, New York. He has a culture in footprint in the culture of Bills fandom. He is one of the most beloved people through his selflessness, through his Christian blueprint, and a beloved teammate and mentor and coach in the NFL. I'd like to welcome Mr. Frank Reich. Now, Frank, how are you doing, sir?
Guys, I'm doing great. It is.
Hang on 1 second. We got to get you. I don't know why. Do we got you now?
Yeah. You got me?
He's in the microphone.
He's in the microphone. Now, Frank, we had a bet going. Will Frank Reich Mr. Frank Reich show up in one of the most illustrious castaway beards we've ever seen, or will he just be a man on a mission, ready to podcast, clean shaven? And it looks like I lost that one.
That's funny.
Absolutely, I lost that one as well. So.
Yeah, just got the scruff going. You know what I mean? I've kind of graduated to just a little bit of scruff.
That's amazing. So, Frank, we are broadcasting right now live from DiPaolos, and if I may, I'd love to show you a little picture that came across my desk today.
Oh, there you go.
You remember that one?
I do. That's the fam right there at our favorite spot of all time. You know, coming into Buffalo and going to Ilios. There's nothing better for us. I mean, It's like a huge family event every year. We all talk about it. We count the days till we're in Buffalo as a family and spending the evening at Ilios.
Now, Frank, I've had the privilege to attend one of the finer breakfasts I've ever had with your call to action, your charity, you highlighting people on a good, strong, focused Christian mission, and you're years and years in. Where did you get that idea from? Where did you get this idea to keep it in the Buffalo community, and how much does it mean to get back and to see a room full of people that you still affect despite your playing days and the number 14 coming off your chest for the blue and red so long ago?
Yeah, it is so exciting, guys. When we get back there, pretty much every year for our Call to Courage breakfast, and down at the Hyatt Regency, and that room is filled with 700 plus people every time. And we got that idea really from the NFL does a Bart Starr Award thing, and it was kind of very similar. And the chaplain, when I was playing for the Bills, the chaplain by the name of Fred Raines, he came to me with the idea of, hey, maybe we should consider doing something like this, just doing it on a regional, local level here in Western New York. And I said, yeah, absolutely. I'm all in. And so, we're 20 plus years now of this event, which is hard to believe. And every year it's such a highlight. My daughter usually co-MCs it. It's really become a family affair. And like I said, ending that, we got the breakfast in the morning and then dinner at Ilios that night. It's a fantastic day.
And there was a mini concert one year, and you have to tell me who was the artist there, because she was absolutely fantastic. And I normally don't get fired up like that, and start clapping and singing along over a yogurt parfait. But man, that's a well thought out event, and people show up in spades. You had John Murphy, Vic Carucci, who was just on the podcast, and it's kind of one of those things people look forward to. And what's it like coming back and it's still being that guy that's engineered so much happiness for a community, and to see them still cheer just as loudly as if you were still had a chin strap on?
Well, it's like I said, to come back and to give back to the community that gave us and our family so much love. It's a great joy, really it is. And we just feel like, hey, we just want to do our part. That's the way my wife Linda and I have always kind of taken it. And the event has just been one way for us to, the event's a great way for us to stay connected. I mean, in Buffalo, it gives us a reason to be back there every year.
Oh, I love that.
to see our good friends in the area. And each year we do something, a lot of times we do something different. That concert that you were, mini concert that you were referring to, the artist was Charity Gale. She's a Buffalo native, and she's amazing. I mean, she's got the best voice I've ever heard. And,
it was worth bringing up.
yeah.
And if you don't mind, to get a touch personal, I know this is a question that we loved, asking Teddy Cottrell, and we loved asking Jim. How important is it? You bring up your wife when you were playing and when you were coaching, to have that type of understanding and just a stalwart at home and just getting what you're trying to accomplish, through your Christian mission, through the mentorship of young men. How much does it mean to go home to just important of a team, that you've made a career out of, but also the team at home that you've made a life out of, and both the duality of happiness in both? How important is your wife and your three daughters in that? By the way, I see all the sideline photos.
Yeah. And I mean, you said it right there. I mean, we're a team, and that's what my wife and I have. We've always just taken that perspective that, when I was playing, whether I was playing or coaching in the NFL, we were on a mission together to make an impact wherever we are in the community that we're in, and we got to do that together. And Linda's amazing. We've been married for 38 years, 3 daughters, 4 grandchildren, and but no, my wife is an absolute stud. I mean, she is such a model of everything you want to be I mean, she's just, I can't even express how strong of a woman she is, how strong of a woman of faith she is. And, it's been a joy. The whole journey's been a joy. Hey, we're like everybody else, you have ups and downs. I don't want to make it sound like we got some perfect life, because we don't. We've had to work at it. You got to work at football. You got to work at, our jobs. We got to work at our marriage. But we have a tremendous marriage, and we put a lot of love and sweat and tears into it. And so, like I said, we're on this journey together, and from start to finish.
So, Frank, you do speak of ups and downs, and I want to thank you again for hopping on the podcast with us. I really appreciate it. But speaking of ups and downs, you were part of 2 of the greatest comebacks. Unfortunately, a couple of years ago, the Bills one got taken away by the Vikings.
Shout out to Harrison Phillips, though.
Yeah, absolutely. But so in those games, can you talk about how your faith, number one, number two, your teammates around you, how you guys handled those situations? Because, I mean, you're down by 32 points for the Bills, and what was it for Maryland? I mean, that's absolutely crazy.
And if I further expand on it, could you maybe touch on the dichotomy of the greatest college comeback ever and the greatest NFL comeback ever? If there's any differences, similarities, mentality, or situation?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, just to answer both of those questions, I would say that, listen, the mentality was, how do you do something like that? You never know if that's going to happen, but you just take an attitude of one play at a time. Okay, we're down 35-3. I just threw a pick 6 to Bubba McDowell, whatever. I mean, let's just go out and execute one play at a time. One first down at a time, one touchdown at a time. What Marv Levy talked to us about is, just respecting ourselves and, each other enough to just go out and to play hard every play. And I just think that's the mentality that we took. And really it was the same thing in college. And if any, the comeback in college taught me, we were down 31-0. And like, if you said, hey, your football team's down 31-0 and you're going to win the game 42-40, how did you do that? You must have thrown for 400 yards in the second half. And I only threw 15 passes in the second half. It was just an amazing team effort. And that's really what it was all about. It was a team effort. Those comebacks are team, everything, offense is playing good, defense is playing good, special teams is making plays, and everything is clicking. And, you're in that zone. And, yeah, they were special moments.
I mean, I think you have Darryl Talley on record. Maybe it was the Four Falls of Buffalo, where he took umbrage being taken out of a game when you're getting your butt kicked. That means you gave up. And I think there's that famous Scottish war quote out of Marv Levy. Just let me lie down and bleed a while. What was it like trying to navigate a Harvard history alum and just a guy who had the poise in the words, much like you rely on scripture as a follower of Christ. Not to say any manly man could ever compare to the man upstairs, but it seemed like the three of you guys in gym, or the four of you guys, really, you guys just operated with such a focused mentality that it's one step at a time. But at the same time, the path you're on, no one controls ultimate destiny. You can just put absolute effort and absolute purity in your efforts of which you project.
Yeah, Marv Levy, right. You could line up all of us who played on that team. You could line us up, and to the man, we're all going to say that, this guy's the greatest coach, the greatest human being of all time. I mean, he was masterful as a football coach. He was unique as a man and as a leader. He just always seemed to have the right words at the right time, knew what buttons to push on each person, had a great sense of humor. To me, there's no doubt. Like, I look at the comeback game that we had with the Bills, and even the one that I was a part of in college, ironically, where Bobby Ross was the head coach, who Bobby Ross and Marv Levy worked together. And, I don't want to say they're similar because they're really different personalities, but the same kind of never die mentality. That doesn't happen by accident. Those games, they don't happen by accident. They happen under the leadership of, that kind of man like Marv Levy and a Bobby Ross. So I can't say enough about Coach Levy. He is truly one of a kind.
Yeah, and he's still going, man. I saw those images on Twitter and the video on Twitter of him wheeling around.
He was just at DiPaolos last April.
Bar in Houston. He looks good. But I do have one more question for you on the comeback game, because obviously me being that, sitting big Bills fan, sitting around the the TV and whatnot, and actually being one of the fans that was actually there. I do have my ticket stubs upstairs to prove it.
See how he had to say that? See how he had to say the ticket stub? How many people have you run into that's been like, I think Steve Tasker says there must have been 350,000 people there.
That's right.
But no, I mean, how it was 28 to 3. Unfortunately, you threw the interception off of McKellar's hands that bounced right into McDowell's arms, and he returned it for a touchdown.
Yeah, they got a quick one. It wasn't a total turnaround at halftime.
What was the sideline like? Because obviously it's 35-3. You guys just got trounced by them the week prior. Were you guys like? Obviously, you with your faith, you're probably still thinking we still have a chance, but at the same time, it's like, what were you thinking after that interception?
Well, I've jokingly, but also seriously, told people that pick six that I threw was the key play in the comeback, because, like you said, at halftime it was 28-3, and I'm sure, we went in, of course, and I told you, basically what Coach Levy said to us, hey, go out and be respectable and play hard every play. I'm sure over in their locker room they were saying it's 0-0. Let's go out and keep this going. And then we start the second half, and I throw a pick six, and it's 35-3. And I think they eased up. I think they shut it down. I think they thought the game was over, because as you astutely alluded to, it wasn't just 35-3, but the week before they beat us something like 28-3. So if you add that up, that's complete domination for 6 quarters. They've just dominated us for 6 quarters, and I think they just shut it down. And as I said, our mentality was we're going to keep playing hard and stay focused, and just started making a play at a time. And like I said, it took every phase. Every offensive series had to be big. Every defensive series, we had to get a stop. We had to make key special teams plays.
It took Don Beebe stepping out of bounds and not
Don
being caught
Beebe
by the
stepping
ref.
out of bounds and not getting caught. I mean, it was crazy.
So, Frank, real quickly, I do have, and I know he's got to get back, but he wanted to stop by the podcast real quick for you and say hi. So, I actually got Dennis DiPaolos sitting next to me.
Dennis. Now, right there is my guy right there. You know, they don't get any better. And this man right here, Dennis DiPaolo, is a living legend as far as our family is concerned. The whole DiPaolo family is really what Western New York is all about. And, you know, love to Dennis and his family for sure. Hope you're well, Dennis.
Yes, we're doing really well, and thank you for that. And same with your family and how beautiful. So, but, you know, we hope to have you back here for your Athletes in Action breakfast again that you put on every year. Hopefully next year we'll be able to get that going again. But, you know, you know what, Kumba, I got to tell you, that it brings back the memories listening to your story. And it's like, I remember my father, you know, well, because you was always coming in after the game. So my father would always go, Kumba, we got to leave first. Let's go. So wait, hold on. Kumba, we're going to score. Okay, then it's going. Now it's going. Okay, well, maybe. So we hung in there, and we're hanging in there and hanging in there. So did we stay to the end of the game? We got right to the exit. Kumba, I can't leave yet. So my father's going, Kumba. So we stayed to the end of the game. And then you had my father with his bad ankle out. We got to roll. Let's go. So then he takes off and he gets wrong. It was like we had to be back for the celebration party we had here at the restaurant after that game. So as you know, you and the family, it was a great celebration time and great memories that we all shared together with our families growing up. And, you know, comebacks. Talk about comebacks on the bocce court they used to have in the backyard.
There you go.
And if I remember, I think Linda was the three-time champ. I think she was.
Linda was a three-time. There were fierce competitions on that bocce court for sure.
Oh yeah, big time, no doubt about it. So which is
no, those times were. I can't even express how special those moments were to us, and it was a truly, you know, you try to tell people how unique of an experience it was and how much it felt like family, and it's really hard to put into words. But really, your dad and mom were a huge part of that. They're just something about, you know, who they were as people and the love that they had for everyone and for us as a football team. They made it very special for us.
And it was a family affair all through those years, and no doubt about it. We get to watch each other's kids grow up, Ilio, and I look at the Metzlers, and I look at the Drichters and all the families that we've grown up, the Hulls and everything else. All of our kids kind of grew up together. It was kind of a great experience we all enjoyed. What a family it was, and it's great to have you and being a part of the family. And right here at the restaurant joining us tonight. How cool is that? Cool.
I love this.
So I still got the family photo. Did you get the family photo? We're showing them the family photo.
We did show him. We put it on screen for him.
Oh, that was awesome. Yeah, we got that. So we're gonna get that updated next year, maybe. So.
Of course.
All right, sounds great. All right, Kumba, I'll let you go. Let
you
finish up and we'll go. Okay, give our love to the family and everyone. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kumba. Take care.
Thanks, Dennis. Thanks for hopping on. So to get back to football, Frank, you know, you put that like so eloquently about the comeback game. I mean, because you were, you know, you replaced, you know, you had to take over for Jim. You were doing the holding stuff. When that final kick went through, can you give me a little bit of that, like the emotion and everything that went through your body as you saw that go through the uprights? Did you even need to look it through the uprights to know it was good?
Well, I did, and you know, and the feeling was just one of complete joy and thankfulness to God for, you know, allowing that moment to happen. And
that picture of you embracing Steve Christie.
Oh no!
Oh my God, that's one of my favorites, Frank.
Yeah, yeah, and mine as well. And then, you know, I remember after, you know, Steve and I, you know, sharing that embrace, and then after I put him down, and I turned and I looked up into the stands and saw my family up there jumping around, going crazy. It's very special, you know, to share those moments with people you love, certainly your family, and then the teammates, you know, teammates in the locker room. You know, yeah, it was quite a unique experience.
Now, if you could, you know, I don't know this. I can't imagine you live very far from the stadium. How do you come down from that? Just the roller coaster of emotion that you just went through 3 hours before. Could you walk us through where's there a time for reflection? Where's there a time for living in the moment? And what do you remember you doing in the hour, the 2 hours after really looking back and thinking about, oh my God, like what did I just do? Or what did you guys accomplish as a team?
Yeah, I mean, I remember, we drove home. I remember my wife and I driving home in the car right after the game. Obviously, it took a while for us to get out of there because of the press conference and all that other stuff. But, we got in the car and, a lot of the traffic had gone, but, it probably took us about 15 or 20 minutes to get home. What would normally be probably a 10-minute ride took us about 15 or 20. And I just remember us getting in the car and just, actually what we did was as I quoted the lyrics to a song, In Christ Alone, after that game, a song that I had listened to that week a lot that had inspired me. And we got in the car and on the way home, we just listened to that song. And, and we just, thanked the Lord for that moment. And, I'm always quick to tell people that, I'm thankful to God for that moment. I do think he allowed it and blessed it in a unique way. But I'm also quick to tell people that, a month later we played in the Super Bowl and Jim Kelly got hurt and I came in the game and we were losing by 10. And I thought oh, this is going to be great. This is going to be another comeback victory, except we're only down by 10 points and we're in the Super Bowl. This is going to be great. And I'm going to, give testimony to God. And then, of course, I ended up setting the record for the most fumbles in the Super Bowl game, actually share that record with Roger Staubach and Jim Kelly. But nonetheless, and we lost 52-17. It was the second worst defeat in Super Bowl history. And so I always want to make sure to tell people that, I do think God blessed that team and that comeback in a unique way for reasons that we'll never fully understand or can explain. But I also think that he was equally blessing us, even in that Super Bowl when we lost the way that we did and experienced, because I think, all through life, there's ups and downs and they're all moments to grow closer to God, closer to each other, to learn things and to grow as people and as leaders. And so, I just come to learn to thank the Lord for all those experiences that help shape us and make us who we are.
Frank, I got a kind of a bigger one for you. You finally got one. You finally got the big one, the big bowl, the big Super Bowl.
Yep.
How much did you carry those teams with you, knowing that there's some people that didn't, and did you at all feel like it's all of yours, knowing that you guys grew, you guys you never compare war to the game of football or make any parallels like that, but did you think of a lot of your team, like Jim? Did you think of Donna eventually got him when you finally got one? And maybe this is just a question for me. Is it almost like survivor's guilt a little bit, or what?
No, I absolutely did think of all those guys, and because of what we went through, it was so unique. Going to 4 in a row and not winning any of them, but you do, and you do share those, and I appreciated getting messages from many of those teammates. Just saying congrats and, sharing that moment with them. And it was truly, even though it was as a coach, I was the offensive coordinator in Philly. So it wasn't as a player, obviously, but it was still, as football things go, like just an absolutely incredible experience. Like, when we had lost those 4, and they said, man, I wonder what it'd be like to win one. And I can tell you, it was everything I thought it was going to be and more. I mean, it was an incredible experience for us and our family. It was a long time coming after that. I mean, that wasn't right. I mean, that was a long time. That was 2017. And of course, those Buffalo teams, the last year of their Super Bowl was 1994. So it was a long wait to get one.
Hey, that's what we always say. That's why the network's called Do Champions. Sometimes you just do.
That's right.
So, real quick question for you, Frank. Going back to the Super Bowl, I got to hear the story again. You and Jim specifically, went to the restaurant, not here at DiPaolos.
I think it was the Orchard Park Cafe.
Yes, the Orchard Park Cafe. Can you talk a little bit about that and what it meant to you that they shipped everything?
They shipped
they shipped everything down for you and gave you lunch.
That is another level of community support and celebrity.
Yeah, that was every Friday we would go to lunch, and that was our tradition. We'd leave One Bills Drive and drive down to Orchard Park Cafe and have lunch. And, it wasn't a long lunch, but it was long enough just to kind of, and we always made it a point, like, not to talk much football at that lunch, like ask him about his family. At the time we just had started having children. So Jim would always ask about my children or, my wife. And so there was just more personal time. And, and it became a tradition to the point, and they'd reserve the table for us. So, when we went to that I think it was Super Bowl 27, and I think it was Super Bowl 27, or maybe it was 26. And they shipped everything there so that we could have our lunch sitting at that table, the same chairs. Now, unfortunately, the superstition didn't work because we didn't win the game. But that kind of memory is just like I don't know. It doesn't. Those are the kind of things that you can't put a price tag on. I mean, they're just the kind of things you can't put a price tag on. And you laugh at those things and you think how much fun that was to do that stuff. And it's crazy that something like that, like they'd ship the table and chairs, and we embraced that moment and had a blast with it.
So no, and that's an awesome story. Can you tell me also, from the same Super Bowl, we talk about it all the time now. As football fans, you see it as one of the greatest plays of all time, and it's in a game you guys lost. But can you tell me what it meant to you afterwards? Maybe not so much in the moment, but afterwards, the Don Beebe play, where he chased down Leon Lett and stopped him from basically setting a record.
Yeah, I mean, there's a quote that I've had on my desk since 1985 that says, "No man becomes suddenly different from his habit and cherished thoughts." And, that's what makes Don Beebe Don Beebe. That didn't happen by accident. If Don Beebe doesn't act like that all the time in every little thing that he does, he's not going to have the instinct to do that in that moment. And that's just a real testament to who the character of Don Beebe as a man. And that play obviously lives in infamy, and it's just it's such a great life lesson for so many people. And I know Don has done a great job over the years of sharing that message with so many people and being an inspiration to so many people.
So did it actually mean more to you guys that he was the one to get a Super Bowl first, even though you guys couldn't come together and get that?
I think that we were like, Don got one, and then Pete Metzelaars ended up getting one as a coach when he was with the Colts. And I just think that we were all genuinely happy for each other when those moments happened. And obviously it happened for Don first, obviously as a player. But I think, like I said, we just shared a bond. There was a bond that was so close and so real. Like, when your boys get one, you just feel like you got one as well. And even though you didn't, but that's the way you feel, and you're that happy for them, as we were for Don.
Yeah, so we're gonna actually take a couple questions here from the comments real quick. You can answer it or you don't have to, but what's your favorite play to call, and what's the play?
Oh, my favorite. Well,
you can't say Philly.
No, that's what it has to be.
Come on! I want something out of the K-God. No, tell us.
No, I didn't call that play. So there's so many. It really depends. When I was playing in Buffalo, we used to have a play called, Calf 47. That was my favorite play. And in fact, in the Super Bowl, in that comeback game, not that anybody would remember, but there's a pass that I completed to Pete Metzelaars that went right through the linebacker's hand. A lot of times when they show highlights of the game, they show that play, and that's what the play was. It was Calf 47. In our K-gun offense, we had simplified everything so the calls were so short. That's why we could go so fast. But that was my favorite play.
So Brady and I were talking earlier, on air, but while we were waiting for you, and we brought it up it was brought up in the chat about high percentage plays. Can you define that for us?
Well, if I understand the question, like,
well, Frank, let me frame it just a little bit better. Is this because there is a subset of Twitter rhetoric? There's a subset of fan rhetoric. There's a subset of people that think they might know what Cat 42 means, but they don't. The dual. It's two things for me that I don't quite get. It is the adage of just take what the defense gives you. Is that too broad? And is high percentage plays, as we use it as a growing term, is that a thing? What does it mean to you? And is it even worth defining?
I would assume that what is meant by it is sometimes we talk as breather plays, meaning like quarterback wants a breather play. Where it's an easy completion. It's a play that, you don't have to do a check with me at the line of scrimmage.
Generates momentum.
Just trying to get a drive start. Like a lot of times we'll talk drive starter, that a play that has a high chance of having success. Usually it's a high percentage. So it's not normally a deep pass, right? I mean, it's normally a controlled pass, or it could be, it could be a certain run that you have. It could be your core run. It's your bread and butter stuff. That's what I would think would be meant by it. I'm not exactly sure if people use it, how other people use it, but that's how I would look at it.
Frank, just coming from Matt and I, in building this and everything like that, this is definitely maybe our comeback, our comeback game, just in how you built it, and maybe the destiny in us meeting, and the pairing of the DiPaolos and us. From the bottom of me and Matt, we wouldn't want to take up any more of your Friday night. Thank you very much, man.
No, hey, it's my pleasure, guys.
Nothing but a pleasure, and from anyone who's ever imparted anything against you, you live up to everything, and honestly, it's a happy moment for me, and I just wanted to impart on you. Thanks for taking the time for speaking to us, and Matt, I think you'd mirror those sentiments. Thank you again, Frank. Amazing.
You gave me some of the best years of football I've ever watched, so I definitely appreciate you hopping on with us. Would love to talk to you again maybe sometime, but absolutely.
Maybe one last thing. Where else would you rather be, Frank?
Nowhere. Right here with you guys on a Friday night. No, I'd be
right here, right now.
Listen, I'd be happy to come back again another time later in the season, as the Bills kind of keep things rolling. If you want to talk football some night, I'm happy to do that. Like I said, the DiPaolos are family to me. So when I was talking to Dennis and he mentioned, you guys doing this, and I'd be like, absolutely, I'd love to help out. So glad to help out, and you guys enjoy the rest of the evening.
Frank, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Frank Reich, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, that was amazing.
And that's the show. You want to talk about anything else? We out of here.
No, I mean, we're pretty much done. We do want to thank our sponsors, Elio DiPaolos, Sons of Erie,
Kayak
Pools, Mackenzie Tree Farm. Definitely want to thank them. And again, thanks to Frank Reich for hopping on, man. That's not like I said.
You just said it. Not the last time. And stay tuned this week.
We got some big things coming here from Do Champions.
Come at the King.
Definitely stay tuned. We want to thank everybody for watching us tonight. Definitely thank Frank again for hopping on, man. I can't thank him enough because, like I said, that was some of the greatest football I've ever watched as a kid. Got to watch it growing up. I mean, those teams are the teams that got me involved in football and actually like loving football. So
hey, Matt, this one's gonna feel good, bud. Hey, Matt.
Good to be seen.
Good to be seen, baby. Peace.
Stand up now, come on and shout. Yeah, 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 yeah. Shout it right now, baby.